What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman, aka Allfires. We're back with another Avengers Doomsday leak today, but this one is a lot different. This isn't a behind-the-scenes shot, but rather new concept art that's leaked out, and according to the industry insider that provided said proof, this is going to lead to a major upgrade for a character that we haven't seen as much as we probably should have during the Multiverse Saga in Simu Liu's Shang-Chi. We're going to go ahead and break down this latest leak. Of course, we will issue the normal spoiler warning, talk about it in context of the character and Avengers Doomsday, why they basically needed to do this, but then also what it means for Shang-Chi's character and how important he's going to be, especially in Avengers Doomsday. We're breaking it all down, this latest Shang-Chi leak, but first, if you could grab the subscribe button. We do daily Marvel content at the channel. That's all we do. Thanks to everyone who's been subbing lately and helped grow us again at a breakneck pace, and if you haven't already, I just kindly invite you to do so. It's the number one thing you can do to support the channel, plus it'll earn you for all the giveaways. Stick around at the end of the video, we get into all the giveaway stuff again there. Okay, so first up, the normal spoiler warning. There's actual concept art that has been provided by an industry insider, and while I will not share it in this video, you can go find it on Twitter and Instagram. I will also say, of course, yes, there is AI, there are fakes out there, just take this as you will, but it's coming from the industry insider source James MacWL, who we've been covering at the channel for most of this year. That being said, if this is in any way going to spoil your Avengers Doomsday experience and it ends up being true, you've been warned. Now's the time to back out. Either way, James MacWL has been providing a ton of leaks for Avengers Doomsday, and recently he took to actually providing some proof that came from the sources who's been giving him these scoops. One of the scoops he broke actually said that Simu Liu is going to get a major power upgrade and be able to do one of his rare powers from the comics where he can create multiples of himself, like Multiple Man, and have multiple duplicates fighting. Now, the concept art that was shared that James W. Mac provided on Twitter showed this exact same thing, but it seemed to be tied to his use of the rings. It looks like he basically shoots the rings down and then starts creating multiples of himself that are all fighting at once. Now, if you're wondering, this was one of his powers from the comics, but notice I said it was one of his rarer power sets because it only happens one time when they send Shang-Chi to an incursion point in Japan. The radiation that's caused there creates a mutate in Shang-Chi, which allows him to create multiples of himself, but from that storyline, it's left unclear whether or not he's able to continue to use that power. Now, interestingly enough, we assume there's going to be one or more incursion points in Avengers Doomsday, and so while him being able to duplicate himself with this new power set may have something to do with him being at an incursion, I think more likely the case they'll attribute this power to the 10 rings so that he can continue to use it. Whether or not it's spurred by an incursion doesn't matter, he'll still have that power set. And as I mentioned during the prologue, there's a reason they've got to do this, and we just saw it with Sam Wilson's Captain America. It is going to be very hard to represent anybody who's basically a street level hero and uses martial arts, even with the upgrade of the 10 rings. Anybody who's using their fists and hands in combat in Avengers Doomsday is going to be, well, sort of nerfed no matter what they do in comparison to not only characters like Captain Marvel, but also characters we've just been introduced to like Sentry. That's why Marvel Studios needs to, and where they can, give these powers major buffs for their lowest level of heroes. For Captain America, Brave New World, we saw Sam get a whole new array of powers with his suit, allowing him to do a lot more than basically the Sam Wilson we saw in Infinity War when he was flying around with 2 Uzis. This is way, way different now with his new suit. And so where they've upgraded Sam Wilson's Captain America, they're now going to do that upgrade with Shang-Chi, and it's going to manifest itself in the way of the 10 rings. And I think, of course, this is something that has to happen again for any of the heroes that would be called quote-unquote street level that use their fists in hand-to-hand combat. You've got the likes of Adam Warlock, Sentry, all these types of characters where the power creep has just gotten basically insane. Not to mention where Dr. Doom's going to be at. And so if Dr. Doom can sort of hang with Sentry, steal Franklin Richards, and defeat Loki, God of Stories, where does Simu Liu's fists even play into that? Well, they play into that now with having the 10 rings to give him insane powers that, you know, manifest themselves in a way that he can keep up in the combat, but also look a lot better on screen alongside the blasting of Adam Warlock, the power set of Sentry, or even hanging with Dr. Doom and actually sort of being able to be a threat instead of just dismissed easily like we've seen with some other street level heroes in the sort of discrepancy of powers in the Infinity Saga. And man, we are in a whole different realm now. Now, that being said, very obviously the 10 rings like Miss Marvel's bangles, and like some of the other weapons, which we're going to talk about in a second, that have featured already during the Multiverse saga. This is all meant to go somewhere because, of course, with a lot of post-credit scenes that introduce characters we may never see again, the post-credit scene we got in Shang-Chi with the beacon being set off, theory video on that forthcoming, is definitely a lot more important to the upcoming storyline than just a lost cameo in a post-credit scene. And of course, the bangles for Miss Marvel and the 10 rings for Shang-Chi, they're a lot more powerful with them than without them. But ultimately, their role in the storyline is meant to be a lot more than just providing upgraded powers for the heroes that possess them. They have an integral role for both who left them in the multiverse, for them to be able to come get them. Remember, they refer to the rings as being older than most of the artifacts that they've seen. And even more important than that, why these certain artifacts and weapons have reached the heroes that they have. And it's not just the bangles and the 10 rings. There's also the Darkhold, which Doctor Strange has now come into contact with. And we know that will be a part of him forever. And those aren't the only ones. So it seems like there is someone moving some pieces around the chessboard here in order for them to reach the right heroes and be ready for the upcoming battle with Doctor Doom. And what's interesting is that obviously this could have been explained very easily with Loki or Kang, but Loki's just come into his seat in the middle of everything in the multiverse real recently. And unless there was some insane shenanigans going on off screen at the end of Loki season 2, which they seem to imply all of that was happening one thing after another, there wasn't any time for him to take off and set anything up, he's pretty much stuck at the center of the multiverse. They're implying that he's alone there and really can't move because he's the one who's holding it all together in light of them not having a loom. So I've seen a lot of theories, and I have some of my own that all meet the same particular rub where it's like, oh, well, Loki could have just set that up, but no, he really couldn't have. The way things have happened sequentially, he's been tied up. He's literally tied up at the center of the multiverse, holding it all together. There are a lot of questions that still need to be answered, and maybe Marvel Studios originally had plans with them for Kang, and maybe those plans have changed, but I think it's very likely there's going to be a cohesive reason revealed why all of these weapons and artifacts ended up in the hands of the certain heroes they did and when they did. You guys let me know all your thoughts though down below about this new power set for Shang-Chi and how you think they're going to be able to bridge the chasm between power creep for characters like Sentry and Adam Warlock and Captain Marvel and those that just don't have anything like that as far as street level, like most of the Thunderbolts, which again, they're going to have to figure out a way to make that all work on screen. But you guys let me know all your thoughts down below. Quickly hit the sub button, leave a comment down below. That automatically enters you to win our ongoing PS5 giveaways, plus all our other giveaways. It's all the same rules apply. Just be a sub, leave a comment, because it's truly random. The more videos you comment on, the better chance you have of winning. Find me on Instagram and Twitter at IamFires. Find me on all other platforms with original music under the name All Fires, including this background track. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.